Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Steve with Census Fidelium coming at you with Clown Planet News. I didn't have the speakers on, I don't think. 9:52 p.m., March 18th, 2026. St. Cyril of Alexandria Day. We're meshed between St. Patrick and St. Joseph Day. Hump Day, if you're scoring at home. Welcome, everybody. I hope everyone's having a great Wednesday. Don't worry, we're going to make it a downer. Just kidding. Can only do so much. If you don't laugh, you cry. Let's get to some crying part right now. Forgot to bring up the one. Anyways, ABC News, the Nile monitor. A semi-aquatic lizard equipped with razor claws that can grow up to 6 feet is clawing its way towards disrupting the South Florida ecosystem as an invasive species. Read more at abcnews.link. Giant lizard that can grow up to 6 feet. So think about the Komodo dragon and make it a little bit different. If you know anything about Komodos, they will eat a human. Let's see. Nile monitors aggressive temperament and thrives in the Florida climate. Let's see if they have
The fact that they came from a single introduction, that they would have lost all of their genetic diversity and not been able to adapt and thrive in the United States.
they're talking about lanternflies. Do not care. Another giant reptile is clawing its ways towards disrupting the ecosystem. The Nile monitor, I assume it's from the Nile, a semi-aquatic lizard that can grow up to 6 feet, is equipped with razor claws, has been establishing populations in the area since the 1980s. So you're just now finding out about this 40 years later. I mean, Bibi's been talking about the nukes that Iran's had since that time. Endemic to the Nile River Delta, hence Nile monitor. In the sub-Saharan Africa, the continent's largest lizards arrived in Florida via the pet trade through both intentional and unintentional release. Frank Mazzetto, professor of wildlife ecology at the University of Florida Gators, told ABC News. They're very wild. They're very active. They don't make good pets at all, so they don't calm down. The temperament of the giant lizards, also known as dinosaurs, also makes them difficult to catch. Mazzetti described Nile monitors as very strong and very aggressive. The reptiles will put up a fight and even bite humans who attempt to make contact with them. Okay, so I'm not buying it. Can you cook them and put them in tacos? They're crazy. They're very hard to handle, and you have to take great care that they don't escape and that you don't get bit. Monitor lizards are one of the high priority non-native species for removal due to the potential impacts on native wildlife. Lisa Thompson, a communication specialist for the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, the FWC, if you're nasty, Division of Habitat and Species Conservation, told ABC News via email. Current management approaches focus on containing said established populations and preventing the establishment of new populations, as well as recurring surveys and removals. Nile monitors are now established in Lee and Palm Beach counties. Well, that's where Mar-a-Lago is at, in West Palm Beach, yeah, with multiple sightings in Broward County as well. The FWC is also monitoring observations of the species in Miami-Dade County, according to Thompson. The state's humidity allows the Nile monitors to thrive. You think? Their habitat requires are met. The climate's a match. In addition, their diverse diet and ability to travel over land and in fresh and salt water allows for potential establishment throughout Florida, especially in coastal areas with mangroves and salt marshes. South Florida's extensive canal system can provide ample corridor, and they have a high reproduction rate. As instead of breeding like rabbits, you're breeding like a Nile reptile. The giant lizards are generalist feeders, meaning they aren't picky about what they eat. They've been observed to eat crabs, crayfish, mussels, snails, slugs, termites, caterpillars, beetles, spiders. Hey, send them this way. Grasshoppers and crickets, fish, frogs, toads, lizards, turtles, snakes, young crocodiles and other reptiles, birds, and their eggs and small mammals, according to the they don't want to say cats and dogs, according to the FWC. They can hunt for prey on the surface, below ground, and in trees. Some researchers have even observed them eating iguana eggs, which also aren't native to Florida, and they're trying to get rid of. They don't care what they eat. Due to their generalist diet, the invasive reptile could impact state and federally listed threatened species, including sea turtles, wading birds, gopher tortoises, and the American crocodile. I don't know too many people are going to be like, you know what? I'm going to miss the American crocodile. That dinosaur that lives in our lake? Yeah, I hope that thing never leaves. Biologists and ecologists are also concerned about burrowing owls. Know about those. As their largest population also occurs where the largest known Nile monitor population also occurs. Nile monitors are not protected in Florida except by anti-cruelty laws and can be humanely killed on private property with the landowner's permission, according to the FWC. What do you shoot it? Is that the way to do it? Nile monitors are often olive green to black in color and have stripes on their jaw and head. They also have a yellowish V-shaped stripes. Look at that thing. That begin at the base of its skull and neck and transform into bands along their back, according to the FWC. They're often seen in close to water, the shocker, and basking on rocks and branches. Reptiles are usually active in the day and sleep on branches or submerged in water at night. When temperatures drop, the Nile monitors will threaten to burrow to keep warm or retreat to burrows. Anyway, you get it. Big dinosaurs, Komodo dragon-like things that are in Florida now. Howdy from PNW, y'all. PNW, Pacific Northwest, I'm assuming. And I wasn't born yesterday, but I don't know. Is that Pacific Northwest? Mendez? Anyway, cool. Howdy if that's so. If that's not so, howdy too. Just in, the U.S. national debt a couple hours ago reaches a new all-time high of $39 trillion. And where we at on here? I forgot to hit the button right here. Yay. More. I don't have the thing. I prematurely flipped over before that. Here is the signal on that. $39 trillion is the national debt. Congratulations, United States federal government. Divorce from DC. # national divorce. X has officially started rolling out the dislike button. That will get some people fun. You thought people always want to try to, was it ratio? Is that what the kids call it? Man, imagine you getting something that says 100,000 dislikes. You're gonna have the Stone Cold meme going on there. You got 100,000 people calling you up. Here's the federal chair Jerome Powell saying rising energy prices from the U.S. war on Iran will increase inflation. Let me go ahead and play it so we can all get the sad song of not only just told you so, but hey.
But the implications of events in the Middle East for the U.S. economy are uncertain. In the near term, higher energy prices will push up overall inflation, but it is too soon to know the scope and duration of the potential effects on the economy.
Yay. Don't worry. I got worse stuff coming up. That was just Oh, I love I ain't heard Rick in a while. Let's play some Rick. I didn't even watch this at first, but Rick is just fun. Question: is Facebook, Instagram ending in encryption on their messages? I'll have to look that up. I did see. Is that because the meta thing, that metaverse is stopping?
What does that tell you? I mean, I understand the short term, we're taking the Fed activity out from the 2-year, and that's why you see those spreads kind of get compressed. The long end, does that tell you anything about how people are seeing the health of the economy down the road, or is it something else?
I do think that there is part of that reflected in this as well. It's almost the worst of both worlds. I guess stagflation would come close to describing the situation. We're probably not going to see Fed easing, and the long end, well, part of it is weakness. We've had a spat of some fairly weak numbers, and then you put in the fact that we are on the PCE, 3% hand on some of the Fed's favorite metrics, as the Wall Street Journal pointed out today, it would be very difficult, even for some of the recent appointees, to think that easing could even be on the menu at this or even very close subsequent meetings down the road.
What does that tell you? I mean, I understand the short term, we're taking the Fed activity.
Usually, Rick, if you know about Rick Santelli, he gets a little excited on there. He didn't get really too excited on there, but he's still fun to listen to. Epstein files at St. Patrick's Day in Ireland. If you don't laugh, you cry. Pilot makes a shock announcement. They're diverting everyone out of Denver. It's crazy. I can't believe this is happening. A woman on a plane records the pilot over the loudspeaker. They're diverting everyone right now. No inboard aircraft. I don't have much more information. Moments later, DIA reportedly has no power, no takeoffs, no landings, planes stuck on the runway. Others turn around midair. Passengers sitting with zero answers. Pilots sounding just as confused. If you were on the plane, what would you do? Oh, I didn't mean to have that on right now. There was darn it. I don't know where I put the other one. All right, we'll go ahead and touch this topic. Unearthed 1995 photo shows Pope Leo the 14th, long before it was Pope Leo the 3rd. 30 years. Did I do my math right? Carry the 30 years prior, showing Leo the 14th participating in Pachamama ritual. Now, I have no idea how accurate this thing is. Someone, one priest, Father Muir, I think it is, found a photo. I don't know where, how, what. Apparently that's then, I don't even know, is he a priest at the time, Father Provost? I have no idea what's going on, how accurate this is. I mean, if he did it, terrible on him at that time. He could have repented on it the next day. Could have went to confession the next week. Between 1995 and 2026, I have no clue what he did on this. Anyway, this is apparently, I'm expecting about 4,000. What's the over? The Vegas line for most podcasts on this coming out. 4,000, thinking about 4,000 videos in the Catholic podcast sphere will happen because of this. So thank you, Father Muir, for creating content for a lot of creators, people out there choose just to talk about that. Doesn't have anything to do with what's going on in your life. The world's going to hell in a handbasket, but we're going to focus on something that happened 31 years ago, potentially. I don't know. I mean, should I care about this? I don't know. I just saw it as someone can ask him. Yeah, that'd be the best idea. Someone ask him, get it over with. Maybe we'll ask it and give some light to it. No clue. This is about as much as I'm going to talk about it, and I've already talked too much about it. Not a good thing he did. Doesn't affect anybody's faith. Shouldn't affect anybody's faith. Shouldn't even talk about it more than 5 minutes. It's over. It's done. It happened in 1995. It's now 2026, and the Great Reset is happening right before your eyes. I have other problems going on than something that happened in 1995. Federal surveillance tech becomes, mandatory in new cars by 2027. Read that again. Federal surveillance tech becomes mandatory in new cars in 2027. We talked about this a little bit a couple months ago or weeks ago too. Your new next car purchase comes with an unwelcome passenger. A federal mandate requiring surveillance tech that monitors your every blink, glance, and head nod. Thanks to Section 24220 of the 2021 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, NHTSA, if you're nasty, much finalized rules forcing at all new passenger vehicles to include advanced impaired driving prevention tech, essentially turning your dashboard into a judgment-free zone that's anything but judgment-free. The tech that's watching infrared cameras and sensors create a constant biometric assessment of drivers' alertness and sobriety. That won't do just that. I bet it will do much more. Again, this is what's coming down the plat. You got the flock cameras all over the place. You have your car spying on you. They're getting CBC stablecoins coming in. They got stay-at-home laws coming in. Gas is about to go away. Anybody thinking what do you guys? by a sound of applause or raise a hand out there, what do you care more about? Something that happened in 1995 or the potential that you won't be able to drive to Mass in a week or 2 weeks next year, in a year? Don't even worry about food part yet. Just, weighing what we care about here. What's more important? Yes, it's not good, but I don't know. I'm thinking that if you don't live down the street from a parish and you have all this stuff about this stuff that's coming down the pipe, I would be talking more focused about what we need to do about this. I haven't been able to drive to Mass in a year. Okay. So now for me, if I'm literally a 5-minute drive from another parish, so it's not too bad. Now that parish is horrific. I will say that. I mean, even people that don't even has fallen away from the faith has gone there and going, it's horrible. People that don't even go to Mass anymore, that are trying to get back and just pray, and have gone to this parish and go, it's horrific. There's no silence. And I don't even think that priest lives on campus. So even if we walked to that parish, where's the priest live? I have no clue if he could even make it to the parish. So, yeah, and then what can we do? Again, we're talking about something that happened 31 years ago. We can do absolutely nothing about it. It doesn't reject it. It doesn't make him not a Catholic. It doesn't make him not the Pope. Next story. Just, yeah. I drive 2 hours and 20 minutes every Sunday to get to Mass. Okay, that's, I wouldn't go to CMRI if you put a gun in my head, though. That's just me. I'm not doing the set A's because I might as well just do it in jeans then if that's the case. Cybertruck nearly sends mom and infant off the bridge in Houston. The car was reportedly in self-driving mode. Woman is suing Tesla for $1 million. Let's see. Man accidentally hacks an army of 7,000 robot vacuums able to access video feeds within people's homes. Hey, Alexa, buy me. Remember that story about the Alexa that bought somebody a house, Barbie house, or what was it, doll house or something like that? And they made it as a joke, but guy, James Evan Pilato on Media Mark, he goes, every time I walk into a house and I see an Alexa, I just yell out, Alexa, buy me a dollhouse. A man over in Spain tried to hack his own vacuum cleaner robot, but instead he accidentally hacked into 7,000 different vacuum robots, giving him direct access to live video feeds within people's homes. Basically, he discovered a backdoor within these Chinese-made robots that made them extremely insecure. Yeah, Amy, that's not dogging on you. It's a CMRI. Isn't that sedevacantist? So they don't believe in the Pope. So I mean, they're not in union with the church. So it's a mass that's illicit. Sure, you still get the sacraments out of it, but you might as well just go to the Eastern Orthodox too. I mean, it's the same in a sense, but yeah, no. And to go 2 hours from it, yeah. Sorry, I mean, stop buying Tesla. You're funding brain chips. Yep. They're coming up here just like the Meta glasses. Yep, all that stuff. Just in the last week, 4 comets, in quotations, witnessed across 4 different continents. As he says, not normal. I don't know what this is. Is that Superman flying across the sky or what? I mean, obviously could possibly be a rocket. I don't know. The video just has sound of flyby rockets. Now it could also, I don't know. They're large, bright fireballs under a week. Green burning streaks in Australia, March 13th. Bright streak over Turkey, March 13th, 14th. Exploding meteor over, meteors. Pittsburgh, northern Ohio this morning. I did see something about that. Somebody said that one landed somewhere, or there was a photo about it. Those are fireballs, not comets. Fireballs as bright as Venus appear somewhere on Earth more than 100 times daily. I've seen like one, I think, in my life. I'm going to guess not a comet. Nope, not a comet. Signs from the sky. Well, kind of. I mean, there's, as they say, it happens all the time. Kind of like somebody was posting about the Vatican getting hit by lightning. And it apparently, from what I understand, it gets hit by lightning all the time, but we're going to say somebody. And who's Johnny on the spot just sitting there with ding, 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 ding until they found lightning to hit out. Yeah. Here's update. Denver International Airport has no power. DIA, the worst airport in history of the world. And no, lizard people do not live underneath there. I have subscribed to a lot of conspiracy theories, but the lizard people is not one of them that I do. Denver International Airport currently has no power. We are just informed by the pilot that all flights have been instructed to park on the runway because no way for them to move the jetway bridge to allow people on and off. And apparently the trains are down and no way for people to get out of the terminal. Now, one time I flew back. I was living in Denver for 4 years doing Uber back in those days. And I left here to fly back here when I was dating at the time, seeing my wife before we got married, and got back so late that where was it? She with me? I think might have been after we got married with Stephen. Yeah, and it was back so late that the trains weren't working anyways. So there's a way to do it. It's called you walk. we walked it. Everyone from the plane walked it, and I think they finally got us a bus later on, but that wasn't fun. But they were like, "Yeah, just follow everybody, go that way." I'm like, thanks, appreciate it. Denver International for you. What happened to Ted Cruz? What's happened to Ted Cruz? You mean Tel Aviv Cruz? I mean, besides being bought and paid for? What do you mean? What's the question? What happened? Did he go to Israel and not come back? Are they bringing Keystone Cops on purpose to air travel by airplane? Well, that's coming up later. The absolute zero PDF that I've been showing for the past couple of weeks, just to rekindle people's thoughts on that, going, that's their plan. The 2030 agenda, 2050, Great Reset, all this stop you from traveling. Here's did you see what YouTube just did? YouTube isn't banning AI slop. They're making you label it so they can train their next model to not look like slop. Read that again. You flag a bad AI content, YouTube collects it, Google feeds it to VO4, and the next year their AI generates videos so good you can't tell the difference. You're not a customer, you're the training data. We all are. They got millions and millions of creators to do free quality control of their next AI model and convince them that it was a strong stance. YouTube just took a strong stance against AI slop. Here's more. The power outage at DIA impacted operators for a couple hours on Wednesday morning and prompted the FAA to ground flights. According to witnesses' accounts from inside the airport, passengers were not allowed to board waiting planes, and power outages were impacting bathroom services. Ain't that something? Not only that looks like there's power in there. They got lights, and I guess that's emergency lighting, but you couldn't get the commodes to work. Boy, that has to be terrible in there. Absolute horror. I would take an Uber. You could have, if it got that bad, there was down the street, they built one of those gigantic hotels. Should have just taken the train right to the hotel then. Cruz is going anti-Catholic and doubling that. Yeah, of course he is, because he's a Zionist. I haven't seen anything today on him, though. All right. I think I watched this before. This is keep your eyes on, eyeballs on the gas pump if you're using cards.
Look down, look around, pull you down. These folks scamming out here now. These folks don't put the fake sticker on the card reader. They trying to get your info. Look out for this. The real one got the light on it. The fake one don't. And it's facing the other way. The real one facing right. The fake one facing left, which is this.
Instead of next time you go to the pump when you're looking at $40 a gallon, look at what else is, make sure that thing is the right way. Mendez, I think Cruz took a cruise. Yes. Good old Teddy. We'll play some TSA. We'll play some acting TSA guys. Why not? He looks like he had a few donuts. But
particularly small. We're doing absolutely everything we can. We have a national deployment office force, and we've fully depleted that. So at this point, we're fully stretched. And so, frankly, there's not much else we can do. As the weeks continue, if this continues, it's not hyperbole to suggest that we may have to quite literally shut down airports, particularly smaller ones, if call-out rates go up and we can't, a lot of these officers can't afford to come in. I talked to one officer this week. She's a single mother, and she has a special needs child, and she can't afford to pay for her special needs child's childcare. So again, I believe it's frankly unconscionable that we have Senate Democrats that are playing, they're holding our folks' financial livelihood hostage over political gains.
We need, because of TSA, the unconstitutional TSA that came in because of, it's definitely let's play team party politics. It's definitely the Democrats do that. Yeah. Abolish the TSA. Abolish the DHS, abolish pretty much all of DC. Again, I'm hashtag divorce from DC. What do you expect? But anyway, quite literally have to shut down airports. Remember that when we get the 60 links down the road from here, when I get to absolute zero. Paying airlines to stink at their service. In a sense, yes, they want this to be worse. So you don't fly. I mean, they've been doing it for quite some time. I mean, remember all the airplanes about all the hiccups on the airlines, all the stuff going on, the terrible things that are happening on the planes. They're making it the experience so bad that eventually they don't want to do it. So when you get to this, people are going to forget about it. Just go ahead and shut it down anyways. Oh yeah, here's MP Dawn Butler says manufacturers can invoke a kill switch, so stolen phones are worthless. Don't worry, they have kill switches for everything now.
At the international conference last week, it is clear that mobile phone theft is international organized crime, dragging in young people as young as 14 years old. The Mayor of London and the Met Commissioner have spent money in latest tech to combat this crime, and it's working, but they need help. Manufacturers have the ability to invoke a kill switch so that mobile phones stolen are worthless, but they're not doing it. Samsung's taking it more seriously than Apple. Will the Prime Minister agree with me that if manufacturers do not do this, that the government will implement legislation to design out crime and keep our streets safe?
Prime Minister. Can I thank you for her question and welcome the Mayor of London's crackdown? The Metropolitan Police have made hundreds of arrests, recovered.
Okay, so it's not this. They're fun to watch. If you ever watch the British go at it, they usually go toe to toe. It's kind of political theater, literally. But yes, as Off Guardian says, kill switches on phones, kill switches on cars, kill switches on everything we own. Just like it will be on Stablecoins, your digital ID, and everything else that's going on. I heard going through TSA is a violation. It's a violation experience. I haven't flown since now. Actually, we were on a plane because it was so cheap. It was in like the 2 days, 3 days. Whenever the planes start flying again. Where did we fly up to? I think we flew up to Cincinnati, catch a ball game. I think it was because the flights were cheaper than anything. And nobody was flying, so they were giving all kinds of deals. We were in the air. Again, I mean, this was before I even knew that whole story, the narrative was bogus. And even then, I wasn't afraid of anything. It was like, okay, nothing's going to happen. We're on the plane. We're flying from, where we at? Greenville, Spartanburg to wherever we were going. I think it was Cincinnati. But, the TSA, I had a friend of mine, I saw the TSA pointer scanners days before in, was it Houston Airport, Houston International, I guess it was. But yeah, you do not want to be around me during the TSA things. I usually put my arms up and say, all right, time that you got to give me the real check. I'm walking through and I have to be a kinder person, but I just can't. It's hard to do it when you see the injustice going on online. And I just tell people, you're still taking off your belt. I'm yap. You see me you think I'm bad when to Proddies or anything like that. I just get worse. I'm worse. Why are you taking off your shoes still? Why are you taking off your belt still? Hey, why don't you just take everything off? I say stuff like that and wait for somebody to, I get a guy to come over finally because they, when you opt out, they really don't care about you after that. And then, put my arms up, say, be gentle. I make some jokes with the guy rubbing you down and all that. So that's me. My wife was like at the time, we're going to be late for a flight because of you. Like, I'm not going through that. I'm a stubborn mule, I guess. Advocacy groups get trans athlete bans on ballots in Maine and Colorado. Hey, look at that. That's that thing called federalism, right? Yeah, states being like states. So you don't need a federal ban? No, you just need states to be like states. Maine and Colorado this week approved ballot initiatives by advocacy groups seeking to ban transgender student athletes from playing on girls' sports teams, putting a debate that has become an enduring political flashpoint up for a direct vote in blue states where leaders have resisted such policies. Yeah. The states are the latest to take up the issue this election year. Voters in Washington state are also on the trans athletes in November, and similar measures have been proposed in Arizona, Nevada, and Nebraska. Pretty much easy to do. States do it. You don't need Big Daddy DC to do it because obviously they don't do anything right. So don't worry, we'll get into more sexy stuff later on. 19 million Americans have seriously thought about shooting someone. National surveys suggest. Did they ask Mark Becker about this one? Research shows that owning a gun and political affiliation has no link to harboring the violent thoughts. Study of more than 7,000. This is why the Clown Planet. Again, U.S. adults suggest that roughly 19.3 million Americans have seriously thought about shooting another person at some part of their lives, with about 8.5 million reporting those thoughts in just the past year. 3 in 10 are reported these thoughts didn't own or have access to a gun, pointing to the need for prevention strategies that go beyond existing owners. Men, young adults, Black Americans, and urban residents were among the groups most likely to report these thoughts. Yeah, about 4 million who had thought of shooting someone told another person a disclosure researchers say could serve as a critical intervention point, especially in states with red flag laws. This just in. Amy has thought about shooting someone, apparently. She just... a Colorado resident filmed... I'll play him in a second. Colorado resident filmed heavy aircraft trails overhead while noting the state operates several permitted cloud seeding programs used to increase snowfall and water supply. Now, these wouldn't be cloud seeding. This would be contrailing. So, anyway, yeah, they paint the skies pretty good. They haven't done it today because the front came through the other day, so they were painting before the front.
I had to drive to Nashville this weekend for school, and I woke up this morning and was heading to campus, and this is what I see in the sky. Like, look at this one that curves right here.
Natural curve.
Yeah, that's normal. Oh, and look here, you can tell, see, the long ones are the chem ones, and look here, oh, normal contrails. See how they disappear? Oh, okay. Yo, that's wild right there.
That's a lot of painting up there too. I haven't seen. I mean, I haven't seen anything like that here, but they get pretty nuts. But I haven't seen that. The heat is going to take over here in March. Yep. We're supposed to get 80 degrees by the end of the week here. Right now it's 30, 40 degrees outside. I'm hoping the blueberries and the buds and the blueberries and the peaches make it through. I got a couple of little small trees out back that don't need a freeze to beat them up. So this is the last day of the freeze. Hopefully they'll be all right when I get back out there. And I get to plant a couple more. I got a goji berry right here and another fig. And I may go to the store and get an apple. I may go to the nursery and get an apple. I got an apple right now, but it's that big. So that will take about 7 years for it to get bigger. But I need apples now, pretty much. Yeah. I chew all over the West Coast. Why is it in the news? Every time I hear a chew, I think of Robin Hood Men in Tights. A chew, bless you. No, that's my name. A chew. Breaking. Senate votes 51-42 to open debate on the Trump-backed SAVE Act. Senators Murkowski and Tillis joined Democrats in voting no. Unlikely to pass, it needs 60 votes to advance to the Senate. As Catherine Austin Fitts retweeted, goal of the SAVE Act is to build a control grid. Don't fall for it. Tell your reps and senators to vote no. But if you look at the MAGA people, they're like, yeah, we got to get it. Trump's the SAVE Act. We got to be, because the whole idea of we got to make sure that illegals don't vote. Sometimes I want to take, how many millions of people saw by shooting themselves? I think about just they knocking my head out sometimes, maybe wake up after this nightmare is over going, really? You guys can't be this dumb. I mean, all because, you want to do it. You want the government to do this, SAVE Act because illegals. They already told you they're not doing anything with illegals, but you want the SAVE Act for a digital ID. Remember the rabbi who said tomorrow their Messiah will destroy their enemies? Yeah. Breaking. The U.S. government secretly registers the aliens.gov domain name. Good night, everyone. You hit Amy, take over. Not the onion. Aliens.gov. Server transfer permitted. Cloudflare. Yep. The largest data center in the entire state of Illinois is being planned right now. I'm going to play it for Joliet County. Anybody in Illinois up there want to get in on this? Go for it.
There are
Joliet's city council chambers filled to capacity. They've even set up several overflow areas for people to watch the proceedings, mostly folks who are opposed to a new data center in town. This is where developers propose building the largest data center in the state. It's about 800 acres of mostly farmland near the Joliet Speedway, an ideal site, according to developers, for what they're calling the Joliet Technology Center. Many of the residents spoke against the center, urging city councilors to reject it, one presenting nearly 5,000 petition signatures against it. They cite environmental concerns about water and electricity usage and noise generated by the plant. All issues, they say, that convinced several other Chicago area communities to reject data centers.
I am all for new jobs, especially union jobs. I am not against the progress of technology. There are other avenues for jobs in this area, and there are other avenues for technology to grow.
These data collection centers, that's what they do. They collect your data, they use it, they store it, they have it forever.
Supporters of the development say it will provide thousands of construction jobs and 700 full-time jobs once the center is completed. And the company has promised $100 million in payments directly to the city. And analysts have predicted the site would generate about $2 billion annually in tax revenue. A number of union leaders representing trade organizations also urged the council to approve the center, saying it would create much needed jobs for the community. Joliet's Chamber of Commerce agrees.
From an economic development standpoint, this project represents a strong opportunity for the community, both in the near term and long term.
The data center is a great project. That's huge for the city.
The city council is determined to let everyone who wants to speak have an opportunity to do so.
Get on the limb that people thought they probably already made up their mind, but we shall see. Hopefully they beat this. Again, this is important for why you should act locally, think locally, in the sense of getting involved in your local and state government. Imagine there is 9 people or how many people on the Joliet City Commission that are like-minded in this and just say, you know what, it's dead on arrival. I know there's a lot of places going up with this. It's hard to turn down the money. Here's the American dream. Once the future king, President DJ Trump signs 2 executive orders to help American citizens achieve the dream of home ownership. I would love some home ownership. One of these days, I have to get out of renting. It'd be good because I want to plant some stuff right now.
Today, I'm signing 2 historic executive orders continuing my administration's efforts to help more of our citizens achieve the dream of home ownership. It's called the American dream. Thanks to our purchase of $200 billion in mortgage bonds, mortgage rates recently reached the lowest level in 5 years. This dramatically reduces monthly payments for new home buyers. The annual cost of the typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 since I took office. I'm very proud of that.
I don't know
I
what
also
facts he's
signed an
reading.
executive order to stop Wall Street and large institutional investment firms from buying up all the single-family homes in the scheme to turn them into rentals and make lots of money in doing it. We want America to be a nation of owners, not renters. Today, I'm taking action to help reduce rates even more and make it much easier to build new homes in America. The first executive order is about bringing more community banks back into the mortgage business. 2 decades ago, over 5,000 community banks were offering mortgages. Today, that number has been slashed by more than 50%, largely because of burdensome, unnecessary regulations that radical liberals imposed on community lenders for the benefit of their donors on Wall Street and, frankly, for the benefit of themselves. The result was less competition and higher mortgage rates for hardworking Americans like you. That is why, under my order, we will eliminate the thicket of unnecessary rules and restrictions that crippled community banks. They've been hurt so badly. We're bringing them back. When more local banks start offering mortgages again, fees will go down, costs will fall, and home buyers will be able to get a mortgage under the more affordable terms that we're insisting on. The second executive order I'm signing today will help lower construction costs for building new homes so that home builders can offer Americans more affordable options. I'm going to sign them right now.
And then he talks about joking about the auto pan.
No auto pen.
Man, you have to swipe it.
That's my real signature. It's not an auto.
Anyways, now it's good that they're allowing the. Well, I'll play the rest of it. I don't know if I forgot he went on.
It's added endless. That's my real signature. It's not an auto pen like you had in the past. As part of the Green New Scam, the Biden administration and many state and local governments added endless, ridiculous regulations that raised construction costs very, very substantially. With my order today, we will slash many of these pointless regulations that do nothing for safety and add lots of costs. It's really unfair to the home buyers.
I mean, that's cool, but that ain't the thing that's keeping houses inflated. But Vincent, what's up, man? Why, to your question on why do I have so many tabs open? Well, first off, that's all that's just this one. I actually have another one with as more behind that you can see. And then I have another, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I have 16 groups. So when not doing 15, it's usually up all the time. It's so that I can remember where I have things listed. I know it's probably not good for the computer, but for this is so that I have going down the line of everything I want to talk about. So like a friend did a show yesterday. It's so bad. On talking about how the Iranian, the war, they were basically saying it's just. They're pretty much cheerleading the whole thing on Trump is the greatest person in the history of the world. Peace, all that jazz. Loving the headset. It was horrific. It was hard to listen to it. A buddy might ask me to listen to it, and listen to it. I'm going. I could have done a response video to that, which would have taken 3 hours to dissect everything with facts, evidence, and story behind it. I didn't want to do it, and because so anyway, I told them in the groups that this is why on Clown Planet I do this, and I list everything that I talk about with the links, so that no one can go, oh, Steven's just doing his opinion on things. I got no, not just where I back it up with the facts. I'll make the people that we're talking about say it. So it's not just my opinion. So that can get squashed right off the bat. I'm giving you exactly what they're saying with the links saying, and maybe we'll do some commentary with it. So that's why there's so many links. And I'm terrible at trying to keep it condensed. Like when I told my wife I was going to do this again, doing news shows daily. At first it was about 20, 30 minutes. And I noticed that after the first show, I couldn't do that. I'm lying to myself if I'm trying to do something in 20 minutes because I would have to just pick 3 things. And it's so nutty out there. There's no way to do 3 things. So now I get 150 things and it takes an hour and a half. Anyways, this should be the Reventure one. Reventure's housing demand index just hit an 11 out of 100 in mid-March. Today's buyer demands levels are far below the lows experienced in the 2008-2012 crash and are down over 30% from the pre-scamdemic norm. Expect March and April existing sales to disappoint as a result, with the potential for some of the lowest sales readings on record outside of the pandemic lockdown months. This guy, if you want to know what's going on in housing, Nick is your guy. In fact, he just bought a townhouse at $160,000 discount to previous sale price. And it was well below 2021 valuations. If you buy in the right market, find the right seller, you can get big discounts for 2026. There's U.S. pending home sales just at the lowest level for the month of February. Here's the Track Reventure's home price forecast. There it is. I've looked at it before. I haven't bought the app, but it shows you what's dropping and all that stuff. He's very detailed in things like this. Mm-hmm. All right, what do I got here? The Hill, the Golden Domer. The Golden Dome, not the Golden Domers of Notre Dame. The Golden Dome cost estimate grows to $185 billion, which, after you get $39 trillion, that's another $185 billion. It's chump change. It's like throwing water in the ocean. No one's going to care. Space Force General Michael Geitlein on Tuesday estimated that the Golden Domer missile defense system will cost some $185 billion as the U.S. looks to accelerate some space capability. Why do we need a missile defense system for the entire North American continent? Is beyond me. Look, that's what it is. That's the photo of the Golden Dome. Greenland all the way down to southern Mexico. Next generation missile defense system costs $185 billion. When was the last time any of you's gotten up and going, man, I hope we don't get bombed today? What? And then it probably won't even work. And then it takes how many years to get the thing? It's insane in the membrane. Big tires and big trucks, How IAI license plate readers became a flashpoint in U.S. immigration battle. Startup Flock targeted by city authorities and privacy advocates over growing use of law enforcement. Here's a Daily Mail U.S. says, once top secret CIA files have detailed America's plan to control the world by manipulating the weather. And maybe that's why there's one day it's 80 degrees out and the next day it's 20. The kills the food supply. You see what's going on. You talk about the food supply that's going on in Iran. This stuff right here is doing it too. Why? Unless you get stuff that can tolerate this thing, peaches can't do it. Apples will get killed off by a frost too. What else? And most strawberries sometimes would get that. Not as bad, but blueberries, but peaches definitely, apples definitely, or some citrus. Some citrus, depending on if you get the cold hardy citrus, which there are some. But it'll kill food supply like that. You have basil out there growing, dead. You have other things, dead. Herbs, some herbs can't make it in that freeze, so they'll come out, bloom, die. So you got now if you get something like a fig, it's not going to worry. That's why I'm trying to get more plants, fruits, trees that it doesn't matter. So if you can bring your worst, and then on top of that, like I said, the fertilizer problem, that's why goji berry will fertilize your ground. So even if you don't like the berries, you get your couple goji berries, plant them in the back. If you got stuff in the ground, it will fertilize your ground, no problem. And you throw in some sunflowers that can get the metals out of the ground. You're good to go. There's ways to beat this stuff. Major traffic delays are impacting the Richmond area after a 23-car train derailed Wednesday morning. This, you remember, was it last year or a year before when this was almost like an everyday event? This is pretty bad. Chaos in Florida for spring break as takeovers overwhelm beaches and law enforcement. Social media promoters could soon face financial penalties for organized unsanctioned takeover events. And if you're a parent that sends your kid to spring break, you should probably get dragged out and back and just beat it up a little bit. Here's CoinDex. Tether CEO Paulo Ardolino is set to speak at a conference and attend a gala luncheon with Once and Future King President DJT at Mar-a-Lago. Whitney Webb retweets, Tether is not just a stable coin. It's a huge it has huge investments in brain-machine interfaces, data centers, satellite surveillance, tied to Lutnick also, content creation, and much, much more. It will not only be the key part of the basis for a new digital dollar, which Mark Goodwin called back in 2021 when it was still an unpopular talking point. It is also meant to be an entire ecosystem for technocratic control. But again, let's worry about what the Pope did 31 years ago, before he was Pope, before he did anything else. Anyway, here's some more info on this stuff right here. Again, this stuff should get you going, okay, we need to stop this. Futurism. Robot goes berserk at California restaurant, dragged away by staff after smashing tableware. I love how he's got a shirt on, an apron. I'm good. This is how the Terminator timeline actually begins, not with a bang, but with a boogie. John Hanke, the Niantic founder who created Pokemon Go, worked at the U.S. State Department of State in the 1990s, then founded Keyhole Inc., which was founded by In-Q-Tel, funded by In-Q-Tel, acquired by Google, became Google Earth. Pokemon Go wasn't just a game, it was a beta test for global surveillance. Remember we talked about this, was it Monday? I don't think we brought it up on Friday, definitely Monday. That was gold. Yeah, I'm good. That should be a meme. I'm good. Let's go into the Joe Kent thing. Joe Kent, August 2024. Most Americans aren't aware our troops in Iraq and Syria have been attacked 150 times by Iranian proxies. These Iranian proxies are 100% funded by the United States of America. We're funding the guys that are attacking our troops. Why do we leave our troops there? I'll play him. He's the one getting thrown over the rolls right now. That was on the Sean Ryan show. I don't know what year. I guess 2024 or something like that. Don't mean to do that up yet. CIA Director John Ratcliffe. Again, they're dragging Joe over the rolls right now.
The head of the National Counterterrorism Center resigned, saying that Iran did not represent an imminent threat to the United States. Is there anything to indicate that Iran had ceased in its nuclear ambitions or in its desire to continue to build ballistic missiles capable of threatening American troops and allies in the Middle East?
Senator, no. In fact, the intelligence reflects the contrary.
So you disagree with Mr. Kent?
I do.
The head of the national...
Yeah, they all going to come out and word now. Oh yeah, there was threat. There was threat. They actually no. There's no threat at all. It was a bombshell that he dropped on them. Good on him for doing it, too. Tulsi Gabbard testifies that now Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and Pakistan are developing now new nuclear-equipped missiles that put the United States in direct risk. She warns that China and Russia will eventually have missiles that can bypass U.S. missile defense systems. Russia already has it with those hypersonics. North Korea's ICBM can already reach U.S. soil. Okay, so are we supposed to blow up everyone? Is that what they're talking? Okay, what do you want to do? Blow everyone up? Yeah. This is what a sellout sounds like. She did not speak like this before all this. Here's Joe Kent. After much reflection, I've decided to resign from my position as director for National Counterterrorism Center, effective yesterday. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Good. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel, which Trump, who else? Rubio, did Pete even say it? They all said that. It is clear that we started this war due to the pressure of Israel and its powerful American lobby. It has been an honor serving under POTUS and Gabbard and leading the professionals at NCTC. May God bless America. And for that, they went after is now character assassination time. It turned out no time for ignorant comments. Did we pay for those tattoos? Probably. It's taxpayer money goes for everything. POTUS, this is Trump saying, I always thought he was a nice guy, but I always thought he was weak on security. When I read his statement, I realized it's a good thing that he's out because he said that Iran was not a threat. Iran was a tremendous threat. He goes on for a while. I'm going to play him because it's long-winded on him. And he goes into, it's been a threat for a very long time, which is contrary to his positions years ago.
Security. I didn't know him well, but I thought he seemed like a pretty nice guy. But when I read his statement, I realized that it's a good thing that he's out because he said that Iran was not a threat. Iran was a threat. Every country realized what a threat Iran was. The question is whether or not they wanted to do something about it. And many people, many of the greatest military scholars are saying for years that presidents should have taken out Iran because they wanted a nuclear weapon. They were, if we didn't do the attack, or if I'll go a step further, if I didn't terminate the Iran nuclear deal given to us, one of the worst deals ever made by Barack Hussein Obama. Remember when they sent Boeing 757s over there, loaded with cash, hundreds of millions of dollars? You would have been very happy. This was a wonderful, they said hundreds of millions. People forget that. Does anybody remember? Right? You remember. Hundreds of millions of dollars in a Boeing 757. I think there are two of them loaded. They took the seats out and they put cash. And it was so much that there wasn't a bank in Virginia, Maryland, or D.C. that had any money left. They stripped them of all their money, put it into place, sent it to Iran almost as ransom. That's not going to happen with Trump. And nobody ever did anything about it. Nobody ever said anything about it. Can you imagine if I did that? So they've been a threat for a long time, but they've really been a threat. If I didn't terminate Obama's horrible deal that he made, the Iran nuclear deal, you would have had a nuclear war 4 years ago. You would have had nuclear holocaust, and you would have had it again if we didn't bomb the site. So when somebody is working with us that says they didn't think Iran was a threat, we don't want those people because, and there are some people, I guess I would say that, but they're not smart people or they're not savvy people. Iran was a tremendous threat.
Anybody that says against it, anybody that speaks against it is not a smart person at all. If you don't stand with Trump, you're an idiot. It's a new motto. As Dave DeCamp says, strange to appoint someone as your top counterterrorism official who you also thought was weak on security. Here's Joe Kent, 2024.
Let me just ask you one last question because he called it 60 years ago. You referred to what a war with Iran would do to the United States, and I don't know that a lot of people in this country fully understand what Iran is as a nation state. It's not Afghanistan. What do you think the immediate and then longer term effects of a war with Iran would be on the United States?
Immediately, it would be very bloody. I have no doubt that we could probably defeat some of their air defense and go in there and have another shock and awe campaign. But again, like we saw how the shock and awe campaign in Iraq really didn't actually work in the long run. So I have no doubt that we'd have some immediate results that people would cheer about here in the United States. But Iran, Persia has always been an empire. It's been around longer than any of the other players in the modern Middle East right now, and they are not going anywhere. And right now, Iran has a lot of internal problem. They have a lot of internal strife with the Ayatollah and that government that's only been in power since 1979. But again, if we start conducting strikes in Iran, everyone in Iran will rally around their leader and they will become even more revolutionary. And then we will have Iranian proxies throughout the entire region that will be conducting attacks just like we had in Jordan. And really in the long term, Tucker, the axis that has been built really since Putin invaded Russia and we decided that since Putin invaded Ukraine and we decided we were going to throw this massive sanctions package at them, China has come in as a major player and we are deeply compromised by China. They control a lot of our economy. They control global manufacturing. They're deeply embedded in Wall Street. And they've also made deals with the Iranians. They want access to Iranian petro, not to mention the fact that Biden killed off U.S. energy independence and now he's going after LNG. And the world's biggest LNG exporters are Iran, Russia, and Qatar. So this axis would become very powerful. If we get deeply involved and deeply entangled with Iran, we are playing right into China's hands because China would like nothing more than for us to be committing our military industrial base to a war in Eastern Europe, in Ukraine, and then to be committing our conventional military power, our blood and our treasure back in the Middle East. That will make the Pacific, our actual border, extremely vulnerable to Chinese aggression, or China will simply just watch us bleed out economically as we bleed out on the battlefield on these couple different theaters. It's absolute insanity. It's opening up Pandora's box. And again, for what gain to the American people?
I mean, I think that's the most reasonable, common sense based, factual assessment I've seen of this from anyone.
Yeah, I mean, not exactly a Ron Paul guy, but I mean, that's the Great Reset too. By the way, since everyone and their brother is talking about the song, I'll go ahead and play it.
Drop it hard. Feel like I'm getting deja vu. This is like a rock war number 2. A rock war number 2. I like to look through those oil supplies. I'd be ashamed if someone invaded you. And if someone invaded you. And I ran so far away. From Iran, from them night and day. But this for USA.
Since give the people what they want. Everybody was asking about that. So a couple of people were asking about the song. So I was like, I'm assuming that's what you, Amy, was asking about. So yes, it's so good. Who asked? Candlesticks asked, do I think the 1995 photo of Leo was real or AI or Photoshop? I have no idea. I mean, you'd have to. I use AI photos quite often, and I don't know if it can make something that. I don't know if it can make it blurry like that. It looks like a real thing. I mean, if it's real, it's bad that he did that, but it's just. It's not something I'm gonna worry about longer and really. Like I said, a day, maybe now. I mean, it's like I said, I've already forgotten about it until you brought it back up. But it's going to lead to a ton of podcasts about this. And yes, the best thing to do is somebody ask him. Maybe somebody will ask him. I don't know. I mean, like I said, it doesn't negate his papacy. I mean, he's still Pope. So I don't know what. I mean, what benefit does that have to do with anybody for that doing it besides clicks? You'd have to ask the guys that posted it up. What's your gain? What do you expect to gain? I know LifeSite's doing a big thing on trying to get more donors for their Roman conference. Which why do you need to go to Rome for have a conference? Just stay home. You can stay here, record people and that. No, but everything's got to be, we need thousands and thousands and thousands. Hey, I would like thousands of dollars. You want to do some more? I do this with a fraction of what those guys make. And most of the stuff on the channel is evergreen. Here's Trump on Kent in 2022. Get on DJT. Let's see how he changes.
But I'd like to introduce Joe to say a few words. A very incredible guy and with a tremendous future, in my opinion. Right now, he's only thinking about Congress, and maybe he'll be there for a number of years, and we don't know what's going to happen, but I think this man has a tremendous future, very special person. Thank you very much. Come on over, Joe.
That's when very special person, and he calls him stupid. Yeah, I have no beef with Father Muir. He brings it up. I don't know why. What's the big deal? Why would I get why there's a big deal, but I just can't. What's the point? What is the reason for putting it up? But I know when everyone was doing the book, he sent me I read the book. I tried reading the book. I didn't read more than the Mason something in the 33rd degree, whatever it was. I just didn't. I didn't care about reading past majority stuff. I don't care about those kind of books. Everyone else does because it gets more clicks on videos. I didn't care about it. I would rather do the the San Patricius interview. I did that one. Most people didn't care. I liked it. So I do with stuff that I like, that it's going to be try to do as well as holy and things like that, or information wise, stuff, books like that. I don't care for. Other people do like it. That's you. That's different. We're all different. So to me personally, I just don't care for that stuff. It's a suck that we know it's in there. Yes, I know it's in there. Yes, we all know it's in there. It's almost like, hey, it's raining. Let's talk about the rain. You're like, okay, I get it. Here's Adam Mokler saying, you literally said there was no threat, because here's Carolyn Levitt saying this post and story should be immediately retracted by ABC News for providing false information to intentionally alarm the American people. They wrote this based on one email that was sent to local law enforcement in California about a single unverified tip. The email even states the tip was based on unverified intelligence. Blah, 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 blah. To be clear, no threat from Iran to our homeland exists, and it never did. And she comes on. Now she says there was many false claims to this letter. Let me address one specifically, that Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. But having a trash Joe Kent right off the bat. So she literally posts, to be clear, no such threat from Iran to our homeland exists. It never did. Now, because she had to be told to do it, now it says that there was. By the way, I had a call by some people to do what, go out there and do the thing with the Pachamama the first time. I turned it down because I didn't trust anybody that was behind it to bail me out of jail if I got caught. And we just had our second kid, and I couldn't get out there. So I turned down a free trip to Rome. But no, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes you guys don't see. DJT was overwhelmingly elected by the American people to be our president and commander-in-chief. As our commander-in-chief, he is responsible for determining what is and is not an imminent threat, and whether or not to take action he deems necessary to protect the safety and security of our troops, the American people, in our country. Blah, 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 blah. After careful reviewing of all the information before him, Trump concluded that the terrorist regime, Islamic regime in Iran, posed an imminent threat and took action based on his conclusion, which there's no evidence for. This is a great video by MTG Marjorie the Gathering, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Not saying that everything she says is worthy of being gold medal.
Millions and millions of Americans, more troops to the region, we're told. It's not clear exactly what they'll do while they're there, a Marine group. Is that something you support?
Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, I like many millions and millions of Americans are outraged by this. He never came to America and addressed the nation and gave clear reasons why we would go to war with Iran, especially after he told us back in the summer that he had completely obliterated all of their nuclear capabilities and had even chastised any news organization or media that said otherwise. But here we are in a war with Iran, and it doesn't make any sense. And I'll go further with this. Why are we sending thousands of more U.S. military troops? Why are we sending more of our military resources? Why are we pulling military resources away from other sectors of the world where it's much needed and putting it all there to fight Iran and to have this war in the Middle East? And the reality is, there are so many innocent people dying. I mean, the little girl's school is such an outrage. It's horrific. And Americans, we don't want to think of our military as being responsible of killing little children. This is absolutely something that Americans should not tolerate. And we are owed answers. They keep saying that they're investigating, but it is such a serious situation. You know, I drove by an elementary school today, and there were children out on the playground, swinging on the swings and playing on the playground. And I thought to myself, I'm so thankful that our children are safe, but I can't imagine living somewhere where school children or people's children have been bombed or killed. And this is something that has so many people outraged, because I'll go back, Caitlin, we did not vote for this. We voted for an end to foreign wars, and that's exactly what we should be seeing.
On the school, so you don't think that their answers so far have been sufficient on who's responsible for that, given the evidence that points to the United States?
You know, I don't want to ever think about our military doing something like that or making that type of mistake or however it happened. But everyone has seen the video. Everyone has seen the still shot of the Tomahawk missile. So no, I think they need to come out and talk about it. There's so many things that are so concerning about this war, and Americans have not been given enough answers. Here we are. Here's Americans at home right now. We've got families getting ready to go on spring break, and gas prices are skyrocketing. Inflation has barely stabilized, and people voted for lower grocery costs. Well, we're going to see costs at the grocery stores going up because diesel is going up and oil is going up because of this war. We've got 30% of the world's fertilizer goes through the strait. That affects our farmers that are struggling already. We voted to put Americans first. I'm a conservative. I'm the America First wing of the Republican Party. That's how I voted. That's what I fight for. That's what I want to see happen. I want to see Americans put first.
I mean, she was absolutely right. The last part was great. She's absolutely right on that. But it's an Israeli government right now. Yeah, we already talked about that. Here's giving your here's if you ever wanted to see somebody brown nosing, here is a video of somebody brown nosing. Poor old JD Thiel.
The fraud czar. What's your reaction to that title? And then second, given your past skepticism of foreign adventurism, are you completely on board with the current war in Iran?
So I like fraud czar. It's certainly what we're going to do. And look, we have to do it. As the president said, this is a problem that has festered in this country for far too long, and far too few people have actually wanted to do anything about it. That's what makes this administration different, is that we actually tackle the problems the American people have been confronting. So I'm very happy about it. And look, I think that I know what you're trying to do, Phil. You're trying to drive a wedge between members of the administration, between me and the president. What the president said consistently, going back to 2015, and I agreed with him, is that Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. We have taken this military action under the president's leadership. I think all of us, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, should pray for success and pray for the safety of our troops. That's the approach that I've taken. Make it as successful as possible.
So there's no hesitation, given your past statements, with the current operation?
What do you mean there's no hesitation with my past statements?
Get on them. Push on.
adventurism. You were a critic of the global war on terror previously.
Well, I think one big difference, Phil, is that we have a smart president, whereas in the past we've had dumb presidents. And I trust President Trump to get the job
Taking a
done.
page out of Trump's playbook on that. We don't have a dumb president. We got a smart president. Man, sellout. Afro Man, cause I got high, cause I got high, cause I got high. You didn't think you were going to hear that on Clown Plan today, did you? Afro Man sued by Ohio deputies over a music video showing raid of his home, says, I got freedom of speech. I got freedom of speech. So all of this is their fault, and now they want to sue me for their mistake. The because I got high rapper said in court. Again, I have to throw some of this stuff in because it's just too comical not to. A defiant rapper testified on Tuesday that he exercised free speech when he released a music video featuring images of Ohio deputies raiding his home, saying any suffering they claim in a lawsuit over the video is due to their mistake. Several Adams County sheriff deputies are suing Afroman. Who are you suing today, Daddy? Afroman, claiming that they needlessly harmed by his music video, Lemon Pound Cake. Oh, dear Lord. Oh, man, I did not know Afroman was still a thing. Lemon Pound Cake. Where's the part about the guys coming in invading his room, his house? Must be that opening part right there. Brooksville Preserve. This must be it right there. Which included security camera footage taken in 2022 when they served a warrant looking for drugs at the performer's home. I wonder what got him to think that. Joseph Foreman is Afroman's real name. I got freedom of speech, he told jurors after they run around my house with guns, kicked down my door, and I got the right to kick a can in my backyard, use my freedom of speech, turn my bad times into a good time. It's not false there. Yes, I do, and I think I'm a sport for doing so because I don't go in their house, kick down doors, flip them off on their surveillance cameras, and then try to play the victim and sue them, he said. The rapper said any hardships suffered would be pinned on the law enforcement. He's 51 years old. Okay. Yeah, his suit. The cops broke up his house and stole money. Cause he got high. Cops broke into my house and stole my money. Woo-hoo, why some birds seem to be developing a cigarette habit. Research from Poland adds the evidence from Latin American countries that compounds in used cigarette butts ward off parasites in birds' nests. So apparently you got birds that are sitting around just smoking a Marlboro. I'm going, I need some more of that. That Dave Chappelle one. Let's get back to serious mode. Technocrat in chief, the monarch of America, chairman of Board of Peace. Just like that, Trump has turned globalism on its head. The dark alignment techno bros in D.C. who have successfully baited Trump to be the monarch of America are cheering. They have been driving the bus for more than 50 years, bidding their time, constructing their infrastructure, checking off requirements one by one, and now they have arrived at their destination. They have declared game over. Game over, man. What are we going to do? America's greatest ally, Israel, has ordered the Church of the Holy Sepulchre closed amid the Iran war, with the empty tomb barricaded and no plans of opening during Holy Week. The Holy Fire will not be present either. It is the first time in millennia that this event has happened. Man tried to pay bill with funny money. South Carolina judge noticed $100 bills contained Chinese. If you're going to pay with some money, make sure that it's not in Chinese. Sweat and tears. TSA agents forced to sell blood to afford to go to work as 5,000 going without pay under shutdowns. Everyone probably knows about the plasma. I used to get plasma all the time back in college and even after that, just to try to make some ends meet. I don't think I did it during my training days. Maybe if I needed, maybe I don't think I ever got that low. But yeah, no, I know. In the words of Bill Clinton, I feel your pain. Yeah, it was about 4 times a month, 2 or 3 times a month. Was the limit. And usually if you wait long enough, they'll tell you, hey, come on in, we'll give you $20 more. Okay. I get yes, I was down, working my butt off at that time, but trying to do anything I can to get an extra $1. Iran may be where the U.S.-led world order ends. American hegemony is unraveling in real time as Iran strikes Gulf states and U.S. security guarantees prove hollow. Because I got high. Australia, down the Great Reset part of the program, Australia is warning of possible fuel rationing as supply chain strain. New Zealand is reviewing emergency laws that could restrict how often people are allowed to drive, including fines for violations. Remember again, Mexico City did exactly that. This is COVID 2.0. Again, to me, I know it's, again, what the Pope did 31 years ago, what's going on now? Call me nuts, crazy, stupid. Call me a post splater. I don't care. I worry about this stuff going on now. Despite war in Iran, board of peace moves on in Gaza. Here is the absolute zero thing. Let me go ahead and bring it to the relevant stuff. Flying. All airports except Heathrow, Glasgow, and Belfast close with transfers by rail. By 2030, 2049, all remaining airports close. Remember, all those stories behind about closing down an airport, things falling at the sky, maybe we can't open the airport, power outages, all this stuff. This is in the doggone blueprints. Road vehicles, development of petrol diesel engines only. All new vehicles introduced from now on must be capable with absolute zero, meaning absolute zero carbon. All new vehicles electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie, woo. Average car size of car reduces to under 1,000 kilograms. Again, it's in their plan book. They're literally, here's what we're doing to you guys. It's like that guy on TikTok that sold his name, image, and likeness to AI for billions and billions of dollars. And when I got an alert just popped up. When he would just do, here's me. All right, technocrats, here's what the game plan is going on. Right? That. They're telling you. Illinois will be worse. Yes, it probably will be. Here, how about do this? I'm going to put this in the chat for everybody. Keep it, live it, learn it, live it. Take it, save it. If you see anybody that doesn't have a clue what they're talking about in this, go ahead and use it and say, hey, here's what absolute zero. Here, everyone in Instagram land, I don't think you get the comments from StreamYard. I'll go ahead. I don't know what. Here's post there. I'm sending you guys the PDF too. Copy and paste it. Bada bing. There you go. I don't need to be the only one having this. I'm not the only one to have it, but go for it. Keep it. Show it around. Say, hey, this is what's going on. We need a team effort on things. The war in Iran is crushing our economy at home. Gas prices are up 27%, and we're spending $2 billion daily. Today, I'm introducing the Big Oil Windfall Tax Act with Senator Whitehouse to tax big oil and return this money to American pockets. Yeah, that's the reason. That's again, divorce from DC. Please, if you read the first opening line of Declaration of Independence, tell me that's not now. Financial Times won't let me see what I wanted to post. The oil market's mess is much worse than you think. That was it? Oh, register to unlock this. The article's about the oil market mess is much worse than you think. I can't read the rest. Another major airline is canceling 1,000 flights due to soaring gas prices. Remember, absolute zero PDF. Again, let's see. Iran war ignites African race to keep gas pumps flowing. Some African nations are weeks away from running out of fuel. Great reset. Just in, U.S. national gas prices jumped to $3.84 per gallon, a rise of over 92 cents from about a month ago and up 23 cents from last week. It's going up and up. They're talking about $300 a barrel. Here's Geopolitics and Empire. Welcome to your 15-minute city. Enjoy your stay. Thai Inquirer. Fuel shortages ripple through Thailand, hitting transport, tourism, and local livelihoods. A deepening fuel shortage is spreading through Thailand, disrupting tourism. They already said this. Small businesses and mounting calls for urgent government intervention. In non-Thibery, motorcycle taxi drivers on Comets warned services could halt entirely as the island lacks fuel stations and relies on bottled fuels sold at local shops at inflated prices, with stocks dwindling to as few as 50 bottles and ferrying motorcycles to a mainland costing about 200 something a day, or sometimes not permitted. Drivers say they may be forced to stop work if supplies run out. In Boone County, diesel prices climbed to 31.24 bahts per liter, while stations capped purchases despite the 10,000 liter overnight delivery. Pickup trucks were limited to 500 bahts, whatever they are, six-wheel trucks to 1,000. Gasoline users to 1,500, with long queues forming at petrol station. A PT station remained closed for a second day due to lack of supply. Restrictions have disrupted contractors, farmers, and small fuel resellers, forcing many to travel between stations to secure enough fuel. The only thanks be to God, it's not the winter in these areas. And out then south side of the world, that's going to be winter. Operators warn that if shortages persist, deliveries of elephant feed, mainly pineapples from Rayon province, could be disrupted. By the way, I grow my own pineapples. Iran war could push 45 million people into acute hunger by June, says World Food Program. Live updates here. Again, Great Reset. I have 25 chicken eggs today. Jealousy? Yes, because I would love to have chickens in my backyard, but I can't because of the stupid rental HOA and renting. Yeah, I would love. Anybody got a house I could? Anybody want to give a house? I'm a 501c3 now, and you can throw it on there and write it off. That'd be nice. Hey, take anywhere, preferably in the South. Yeah, so we love that. But hey, there's again, throw some. You don't need, again, Mark, you didn't hear that. Yes, it will hurt, but if you know how to get plant stuff that do natural fertilizers, clover, goji berry. I was telling everybody before, you plant a goji berry in your yard, everything around it in like a 15-yard radius or maybe more will get nutrition from the goji berry, which pulls nitrogen out of the sky into the ground. There you go. You got your natural fertilizer. Our Mexico City desk assesses that Mexico is entering a food inflation shock that will materially impact households by mid-2026 and could escalate into a broader food security issue by quarter three, if energy and fertilizer markets remain disrupted. We assess that the country is entering this cycle with structural exposure and limited buffers. Inflation is already running at 4.02% as of February, above target, and more than half of Mexican households already face some degree of food insecurity. This is a very vulnerable starting point. The dependency profile is decisive. Mexico consumes 51.3 million tons of corn and imports 26 million, roughly half of the total use. Wheat imports about 80% of the consumption. Rice imports cover more than 85%. Corn is not just a staple, but also the backbone of animal feed, accounting for roughly 45% of animal rations. More than 99% of imported corn comes from the United States. This is the single point of failure system. Fertilizing channel is now the primary accelerant of the coming shock. About 1/3 of global fertilizer trade consists through the strait. Urea prices have already jumped roughly 40% to above $700 per ton, with credible scenarios pointing to doubling under prolonged disruption. China, the world's largest producer, has effectively restricted exports. Mexico imports roughly 75% of its fertilizer needs and brought in nearly 3.8 million tons in 2025, with imports from China surging. This is a direct supply vulnerable at the worst possible moment. Was the bread and wheat products follow immediately after? We assess the first visible impact will hit protein prices between May and June of 2026. Poultry, eggs, and pork will move first due to feed cost pass-through. Bread and wheat products follow immediately after. Tortillas lag behind, but are not insulated, and industrial corn supply chains depend on imports with the margin. Again, you can get around it. The individual person can get around that by planting stuff that can grow free and take care of this. Again, the industrial part is going to get hit hard, though. And not too many people are going to know how to grow or even have an idea of what to do and aren't even thinking about it. Urea prices rose 0.25% on Tuesday, surpassing $600 per ton for the first time since 2022 amid the Strait closure. Again, Great Reset. Americans own grocery costs.
We bought stuff for a stew and some snacks and a plant. $150.
It keeps going up and up and up. People on lower end pay, they're hurting. This is the new normal.
I think everything is more expensive now, and it sucks. I don't really know what else there is to say on it.
This is the new normal. Remember hearing that one before? Kind of snuck that one in. I wonder if he's a fellow thinker on that. This is the new normal. Trump advisors circle the wagons as signs of dissent over Iran emerge. Iranian missiles cause extensive damage to world's biggest natural gas plant in Qatar as Tehran furiously hits back across Gulf following U.S.-Israeli strike on fuel facilities, sending price of crude soaring. 30-40% nutrition than most veggies. What about putting money down on a tax lien property? One of my friends suggested that to me if I wasn't in a hurry to relocate. Plenty in the Orlando area. Florida is on my target list because of no state income tax and everything else. I mean, I don't like the CIA thing that they're coming up with, and the Stablecoins idea and the digital ID that they're trying to get through. But everything I grow would grow fine in that area. No, trust me, I am looking to try to figure out something, especially first timers, where there's a lot of first time help out there. Just prices are still high. No, going down. They're going down. I'm keeping an eyeball on all that. Trust me. Israel expands strikes on Iran's Navy to Caspian Sea. Qatar's largest LNG hub damaged in Tehran energy retaliation. Here's Iran says U.S. Israeli energy and gas infrastructure will be burned to ashes. These guys usually don't talk without bringing it. Mark, I love you, man, but ain't no chance I'm moving to Iowa. Too cold for my blood. I'm a Southerner, true and true. I'm staying in Dixie. Yeah, sorry. And plus, I don't want to fight the cold for growing things. I like staying down here. 7. I mean, Tennessee might be the furthest west I would want to go. I mean, even Alabama, maybe. Alabama, Tennessee, maybe, the cotton states, staying down here. North Carolina may be the furthest north I want to go. Speaking of war pigs, generals singing in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Israel strikes world's largest natural gas field in Iran. Thanks, Israel. Iran has destroyed 10 U.S. radars, hit dozens of bases. Ukraine sends 200 drone experts to aid war against Iran. Trump says he's not afraid of Vietnam-style ground combat in Iran. Boots on the ground. Again, I had a friend of mine do something, say, well, we're not having boots on the ground. Apparently, he doesn't look at anything else besides what Fox tells him. Gabbard, Iran was not rebuilding nuclear program. Trump delays meeting with Chinese Xi Jinping. U.S. and Israel strategy move may prove counterproductive. U.S. scales back Venezuela oil sanctions. Trump lifts Jones Act for 60 days in effort to lower oil price. U.S. farmers worry about fertilizer amid the war. Only 90 ships have crossed the Hormuz since war broke out. Heavy fighting expands to southern Lebanon. France says Lebanon cannot disarm Hezbollah under bombardment. And the Pentagon planning to intensify operations in Latin America. More than half of Americans opposed Cuba regime change, but you're going to get it anyways. Israel withholding Palestinian child detainees without charge. Hey, back to sports. Iran is firing more and they are hitting more per shot than during the first days of the conflict. Not good. So they were in sports, they were warming up. It was 4 degrees last night. Yo, good night. That was Chicago. Whew. Yeah, you guys are built tougher than that. I'm going, it's 60 degrees, 50 degrees. We're going to walk. And I got a hoodie and a jacket on. You call me a wimp. I'm fine with it. I am proud of my wimpism. Ras laughing live. Qatar refinery attacked as Iran missile sparks fire. Is this an anti-Israel site? I don't know. What do you think? Israel's a terrorist state. What do you run with it after that? Zionism is evil. After that, you make your own decision. Question everything. Israel just made the most dangerous military decision of the entire war, and nobody understands what they triggered. Israel and U.S. struck South Pars, the largest gas field on the planet. But here's what they didn't know or didn't care about. South Pars is jointly managed by Iran and Qatar. They didn't just attack Iran, they attacked an energy backbone of their own Gulf allies. Let that sink in. The IRGC just declared all major energy facilities across the entire GCC as direct and legitimate targets. And war and strikes are coming in the coming hours. Listed targets: Qatar's LNG complex, Saudi Aramco facilities, UAE oil terminals, everything. Saudi Aramco has already evacuated workers from the Samref refinery in Yanbu. They're not waiting. They know what's coming. Iranian hackers have already hit Aramco's digital systems, posting images and issuing threats to paralyze their infrastructure. Multiple explosions just heard in Raqqa, confirmed by Reuters, AFP, and the AP. Siren sounding in the Saudi capital. Do you understand the scale of what's happening? Qatar's LNG complex is the largest on Earth. It supplies 30% of the world's liquefied natural gas. If Iran hits it, Europe's heating supply disappears overnight. Not in months, overnight. Saudi Aramco is the most valuable company on the planet, worth 1.8 trillion? Billion trillion. Its refineries process 12 billion barrels per day. One successful strike takes 10% of the world's oil offline. In 2019, a single drone attack on Saudi Aramco's Abqaiq facility knocked out 5.7 million barrels per day and sent oil up 15% in one session. Iran now has 10 times the motivation and nothing left to lose. They're showing you precision strikes on Iranian targets. They're not showing you that these strikes can gave Iran the justification to destroy every oil facility from Qatar to Saudi Arabia to the UAE. Here's the logic. Follow it closely. You bomb a gas field that's jointly owned with Qatar. Qatar, your Gulf ally, publicly condemns you. Iran uses the attack as justification to target all Gulf energy. IRGC formally declares Gulf facilities as legitimate targets. Aramco starts evacuating refineries. Explosions hit Rafah. You didn't weaken Iran. You gave them the excuse to burn down the entire Gulf's economy. If this was a strategic victory, why is Aramco evacuating workers right now? If Iran's military is degraded, why are 6 Gulf nations scrambling to protect their oil fields from an attack they believe to be imminent? Complete silence. You don't evacuate the world's most valuable company unless you know it's coming. The IRGC said coming hours, not days, not weeks, hours. And every Gulf state went from spectator to target. This is no longer a war between the U.S. and Iran. This is a war that's about to erase the Gulf's entire energy infrastructure, the infrastructure that powers half the planet. Prepare accordingly. They don't want you seeing it. Okay. Are you rooting for Iran? Yeah, you realize that Israel's IDF controls the air in the mid East. Okay? Do you have a bee in the bonnet with Israel? Yeah, Israel's a terrorist nation, terrorist state. Are you rooting for Iran? It's not if you're against these guys, that means you're automatically for these guys. It's kind of like the false the economy of you must be against Trump, so you got to be for Kamala. No. Hey, stop thinking WWF. Stop thinking Yankees versus Red Sox. They all suck. They're all in on it. I mentioned that you've probably never been on this show before. We're against all this. They're in on it. Iran was for the Rona scamdemic. They're for digital dollars. They're for the digital ID. They're for technocracy. They're all in on this. They're all on the same team, Bob. This is the Great Reset happening in real time. Iran hits huge Qatari gas field in missile strike. U.S. aims to curb soaring oil prices as Iran vows more revenge. Here's another guy. Saudi Aramco just lost 500,000 barrels per day. Their biggest refinery is offline. And Hormuz mined and paralyzed. Oman business bypass hub struck. Bab al-Mandab, Houthi circling. Look who's not getting their oil today. China, Japan, 960 kilo. South Korea and India. The east-west pipeline is running hard, but it's not enough. Storage is filling. Fields are shutting in. Now the refinery is burning. Aramco called this catastrophic. They were not exaggerating. Here's Saudi Aramco global sales and distribution. U.S. Latin America, 700 barrels per day. Japan, 960 barrels per day. South Korea, North Asia, 950,000 barrels per day. China, 1.75 million barrels per day. India, 850,000 barrels per day. Africa, 450,000 barrels per day. This guy goes to someplace in Pennsylvania. He goes, if you could say anything to Trump and he was going to hear you, what would you now? You are a worthless pile. That's literally what she said. I won't play it because it's a family show. But if you click on the link, you'll see it in the all the way at the bottom in the show notes. Are you voting for him? And you voted for him how many times? She says 3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot. JD Vance blames high oil prices on Brandon. Womp womp. This Emirati billionaire put a voice to Gulf anger over Trump's war in Iran. And let's get to, we're rattling off. Record-shattering, in weather, record-shattering March scorcher, 70 million to bake in summer-like heat dome into weekend. All you guys were talking about the weather 30 minutes ago. We finally made it to the weather, okay? Who's it? Record-breaking heat across the Southwest this week as stubborn heat dome sends temperatures into the 90s and even past 100. Here is March heat wave March heat wave kickstarts early rattlesnake scorpion surge across Arizona. You know, that's one reason I don't want to move to Arizona or ever is because, you know, I like to walk outside, you know, without stepping on a rattlesnake. Yeah, caught me crazy. In sports, Venezuela defeats the United States in the World Baseball Classic final in a score of 3-2. Talk about irony. This was a good little thing by I can't remember the guy's name.
This team is awesome. We are family here. That's why we play with passion, with love, because we feel that the jersey, we feel our country in front of us. That's why this is a lot for us as players, as a people, as a human beings, and as a Venezuela. Now we are the champion.
Eugenio, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Can you describe what this means for your country?
I mean, what can I say about this? It's amazing. God is good. All the glory is for Lord Jesus. He was with us the whole time. We have to glorify, put his name in front of everything. And nobody believed in Venezuela, but now.
He's pretty excited. It was cool to see. And again, Venezuela is the size of Texas. Like fighting, you know, playing against the entire continent, pretty much, not the whole entire continent, the entire union. Again, decentralized. What if Texas played in something like that? That'd be cool. This is hilarious. It's the craziest thing you ever seen on a basketball court. The guy used his shoe to swipe at the ball. This day in history, 1662, Blaise Pascal's transit service begins running in Paris. 2017, American singer-songwriter Chuck Berry died at 90. 2012, Tongan King Tupac V died and succeeded by his younger brother, Crown Prince Lavaka, who was named Tupac VI. This record came out later. 2000, hopefully somebody got that joke. 2000, Qin Shang Bian, the leader of pro-independence movement that sought statehood for the Republic of China, Taiwan, was elected president of Taiwan, breaking the Nationalist Party 55-year rule. 1990, what was considered the biggest art heist, 2 men pretending to be police officers stole 13 works, including paintings by Rembrandt and Vermeer. They were never recovered. 1974, 7-member countries of OPEC lifted a 5-year oil embargo against the United States. 1965, Soviet cosmonaut Alexis Lenov, after passing through an airlock on the spacecraft Volkov 2, became the first man to walk in space. 1964, speed skater Bonnie Blair was born in Cornwall, New York. 1936, politician F.W. de Klerk, who was the president of South Africa, brought the apartheid system of racial segregation to an end, was born. 1932, American writer John Updike was born. 1906, the first monoplane made a flight of 40 feet. 1902 is 40 feet longer than I could go. 1902, Italian operatic tenor Enrico Carasso, one of the first, made his first phonograph recording. 1871, the Commune of Paris, an insurrection of Parisians against the French government began, lasting until May 28th. 1869, Neville Chamberlain was born. 1837, American politician Grover Cleveland, who was the only U.S. president to serve 2 discontinuous terms, was born. 1766, the British Parliament repealed the Stamp Act of 1765 after violent protests from American colonists, including the group known as the Sons of Liberty. Does anybody know who led the Sons of Liberty? I'll give you, this is for a milkshake. Come on, put your heads together. Who was one of the guys? You know him in the beer. Do 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 do. No one's saying anything now. That's fun. Okay, great. Okay, Sam Adams. If anybody had Sam Adams, you want a milkshake. Anyway, have a great rest of the night. He was kind of like a terrorist. If you didn't know, Sam Adams, who's on the Sam Adams beer, he was so bad in his business that he pretty much destroyed the beer company that his family ran, which is ironic because he's on the cover of the Sam Adams beer now. It's like, wait a minute, he ran into the ground. Now his face and name's on the beer. Brick, you'll collect your it's in the mail. I'll mail you the milkshake. All right. God bless everyone. Thank you for checking in. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. I'll see you tomorrow on the weekly Reckoning with Rick. Bear tomorrow evening. I'm trying to figure out if we want anybody to come on. If anybody wants to come on, just let me know. And have a great rest of the night. Friday will be the next Clown Planet. Have a great rest of the night. Talk to you later, and God bless.